Big up, big up, big up, big up to everyone out there that's joining us live and direct. After that great Europa final, we are not in this normal 7 p.m. UK hour right now, only because I definitely wanted to speak on that final and actually enjoy some of the comments that you guys have about it, because I mean that was a game, really good game, and we're blessed to have you guys here, and definitely blessed to be able to have this opportunity to chat about the game, about some other things going on in the football world, and of course to talk about anything Reds. Whatever it is, that'll always be something of a subject, I'm sure. So big up to everyone. And joining us today, we have the Irishman. How are you doing?
Hey, how we doing? Very well. We
Very
um
well.
we we dodged the bullet there, didn't we? He's a bloody fraud. He's a bloody
Yeah,
fraud. We dodged the bullet. Bottle bottling it. Bottle the co-file.
there you go. There you go.
Ding.
I think what's even crazier too, though, because you were talking about it before, Brian. When was it exactly that we were like in the pursuit of Atalanta's uh, manager? Was it before we got Klopp, or was it?
Gasparini. Gasparini kind of came up a few times. Sort of always one of those sixth and seventh on the list kind of guys.
Hmm,
He would usually come up in the conversation. I don't think he was ever really top it. I mean, that's the first thing the guy's ever won. But
yeah. Well, that's the
it's
first. That's
a
also
long
the
career
first big.
being a
That's the
coach.
first trophy for Atalanta too.
Yeah, just yeah, a bit of a. I suppose it'd be kind of like oh, I don't know, maybe like someone like I don't know. Yeah, I can't really think of a good English comparison for it, but he's been there a long time. He's kind of created and molded a team, taking them from relegation type people uh, to where they are now, Champions League consistently. Pretty much, he can retire now. He could pretty much throw the he could leave it after that because can't really, he's probably kind of completed it, really, as they say, as the kids would say.
Yeah,
Atalanta, completed it. Like it's not going to get any better. So it's
yeah,
incredible job he's done. But uh, always very highly regarded coach. Yeah,
yeah.
but look, I think that was a. There's a couple of there'll be some questions asked there, about people not showing up.
Hmm.
I did not see the Leverkusen. I know we'll go on to it, but I didn't see the Leverkusen I expected to see there tonight. But you can't blame them. United have had a big season, good season, but a little bit
Yeah,
disappointing.
little. It's certainly a little bit of a kind of a bummer to to have that be the way that you kind of go out
I
in
know.
at the end of the season, to lose your final game of the season pretty much. So
No, they've got
that,
another cup down.
or they do have
No,
another, the
they've got
Super
another
Cup.
cup
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
No, well,
yeah.
it's not a Super Cup. It's like their version of the League Cup.
Right,
It's not one of
right,
those mini cup things. It's a proper cup. So
right.
they can still do the double. Still do a double.
They can still do a double. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, can still do that. So it is going to, but I mean, really, if they'd lost that 1-3-2, if they'd come on full Leverkusen, giving it all, attacking, scoring goals, and just got done. But
Hmm.
I mean, they kind of didn't show up. Almost. I know they were nullified to a degree. Obviously, people better than me at that kind of stuff will tell you.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm thinking they'd probably love a chance to play that one again because
Yeah. I
there
would
was guys,
think.
yeah, Frimpong, Bert's did nothing. Xhaka was trying to get a hold of it. Xhaka was trying to make things happen, but I think it's like one of those times that happens in football. Players can have off games, but
Hmm.
you can't live with it when everyone has an off game on the same night, and it's just horrible, horrifically for some teams. We often see it in finals. They just go out there and boom, 90 minutes later, they're looking around going, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah.
And they've lost, and they're just like, "We just didn't even get going. We didn't even string two passes together." So, yeah.
Well, that's the thing about it, is that just go out there and punch someone in the mouth, basically, which is what it looked like they got when they got that first goal scored on them. But
Yeah.
let me intro actually two of our other brothers here. Lee, how are you doing, Lee?
Good. I wasn't that surprised, about Atlanta. I had a feeling that they'd turn them over, yeah. I had a feeling they'd turn them over after doing us and getting the traction from that. I felt that they could definitely go on and do Leverkusen as well as Leverkusen have been doing this season, and as good as they've been.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that Atalanta might do it.
Yeah. And JK, how are you doing, brother?
Easy, bro. I'm good, bro. How you? Cool, Brian? Lee?
Yeah, good.
Hi, Jay.
Nice to see you guys.
So, did anyone have Lookman getting a hat trick though?
Never.
I don't think any of us had that going down. I would say that much.
I think that game was sort of reminiscent about our game, the 3-0 at Anfield. Like 3 goals, sort of got surprised. I think Leverkusen weren't sort of ready for the game, like we weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Same sort of, But fair play to Atalanta. They played pretty well, got the job done.
Yeah.
Champions League.
They're a good outfit, aren't they? They're a good outfit. They showed that against us, didn't they?
Yeah. They surprised us on that game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is that like basically, I thought that I was with Lee in that I thought that there could have been an upset today, simply because I just think that their coach is a brilliant tactician. Obviously, I mean, like, he just knows how to figure out what it is to make whatever the opposition is that they're playing against actually go against their better interests, you could say, So like seeing that happen today, I wasn't that surprised, I should say.
He's very shrewd, isn't he, Gasparini?
Not surprised to see them win it, but surprised that the kind of no-show from Leverkusen is what I was thinking. Like, yeah, they can be nullified and they can be tactically outclassed, but I mean, if you play that game 10 times, they're not like they've gone invincible, obviously, in the league, but
right.
It's not just that. I mean, these boys score goals. That's what they've been doing all season, is scoring goals. So to keep them, get a clean sheet out of them, everything had to go perfectly tactically to plan, and that's what they did. So 100%, they deserve it. I reckon Alonso was kind of scratching. They're sitting there scratching their heads, going, "Any chance we can play that one again?"
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Lookman, he used to play. He was on Brighton, wasn't he? He was on Brighton, I believe.
He played for Leicester.
Was it Brighton or Leicester?
He was at Leicester, and they lost him. Yeah, he never really kind of looked that good at Leicester, but all the fans were there going like, he's class. Like when they weren't doing really well, because one of my mates, he does a Leicester fan channel, and he was like, this guy they bought a load of really bad players. They're like, this guy's really good. Like, out of all of them, like, look, man, on his day, he's
I think
class.
Lookman scored against us. That's the reason why I was saying that, though.
He did score against us.
Yeah.
So he's always had that talent. It's just the consistency of it. But if you're going to have the game of your life, Jesus, what a night to have the game of your life.
What a night to have it. What a night to have it, for sure.
Timing, man. Timing. We talk about timing, don't we? All the time. Boom.
Yeah. Big up to the chat, by the way. Big up to the chat. Revenite, Bonkers, Mark, Honesty. A nice little group today, by the way. Bernie's in the house. Redbird, Philip. Definitely a good group in the house today. for some bonkers. Yeah, definitely a good group. Good group today. Yeah. So now I guess they basically, like you said, they're just gonna have to take it on the chin and go back to Germany. And I mean that the next competition that they have is you're saying it's not. I thought it was called the German Super Cup or something, but like basically, they're going to definitely they have to go up against Stuttgart, right? Am I right, JK? Oh, I don't know. JK's with us.
I think it's the DFB Pokal. It's just the German thing.
I think it's Stuttgart. I think it's Stuttgart, to be honest with you, because he's just number 1 versus number 2.
No, it is. I mean, it's the DFB Pokal is what they call the cup.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So yeah, it's Christ. I know. Would you be crazy to have 50 quid on Stuttgart?
That's exactly what you might be thinking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
or does Leverkusen come out and just trample them, like just come back with like just try to show revenge or something?
It's one or the other, isn't it?
European football at its best, it's predictably unpredictable, and people think, oh yeah, this team's gonna waltz through to the final, and then there's someone there that just stops them and waltz through to the trophy. I was quite surprised that Villa went out like that against Olympiacos, but Olympiacos are seasoned, aren't they? You know what I mean? So it's one of them things, isn't it?
No, that was pretty surprising, though. To be honest, they're better than Olympiacos. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. In fairness, yeah. But they had, I think they had the lead. They had basically one eye on finishing fourth, didn't they? And said, look, they probably just kind of inadvertently just took their eye off it. Because finishing the Champions League, yeah, that's more important.
Because I quite like Villa, only because I can remember when they won it. Like I was only a little boy, but I can remember it. And it was a good team. I remember my stepdad liked some of it. Well, he liked that one, Tony Morley. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, the other one, no, Gary Shaw. That was only like the young one. There was a young player called Gary Shaw. My stepdad used to play like and that, and he liked different players, whatever. But I remember that team. Remember, I said yesterday the captain of the team was a scouter, and the winning goal scorer against Bayern Munich was a scouter as well, Peter With. Dennis Morton and Peter With.
Yeah.
Oh, the Villa team. Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. Even when Villa won it in '82, it was with a couple. It was a scout goal scorer and a scout captain.
Yeah. There's a question here, actually, to you guys. It says, questions. Have you guys seen Darwin say he feels at home with the national team, with friends and family? And again, the fan base go all crazy. Honesty, I think the majority of players will say that same statement, to be honest with you. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, whenever you get an opportunity to be with some of your mates that, you probably were at the earlier stages of your career with, no matter where you are in the world, most likely, unless you change national teams, most likely, no matter where you are with the club, your national team is where you'll probably see and create these lasting memory or lasting bonds with your fellow players, because there's no you'll most likely be going to that national team and having your journey, whether it's in Europe or South America or America. It'll always bring you home to your national team. So I can understand that. And most notably for me, the name that always sticks out in my head, who plays, a guy who used to play better sometimes and was a phenomenal talent, but used to play better with his national team than sometimes his club teams, is like a Paul Pogba. He always said the same as well.
That was built around him for France.
Yeah.
It's built around. But again, it's like last night, Revenant is saying it there. Obviously, it's like, man feels more at home when he's at home. Next.
Mm-hmm. Was that a Paul Joyce tweet, by the way? Honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
No, it's the style.
I think he's got Chat GPT doing his tweets or something.
Like, what is he? 5,000 miles from? I don't know. What's Uruguay to England? 5,000 miles or something. So yeah, he's back at home. You know, he's back at home with all his mates and all his family. Of course, he's going to feel chilled out better. Of course, he's not going to say, "Oh, I hate being at home with all my friends and family. Can't wait to get back to Liverpool." You know, they're trying to make this out to be absolutely. I mean, that's just the most non-statement of all time. It's like, oh yeah, look, he's that's his way of telling Liverpool fans he wants to leave. You know, come on.
Right.
It is a bad one, that, isn't it? If that's true, the people are going off their head because he said, "Oh, I like being home with my family, like when I'm playing for the national team." Everyone went, "What?" It was like,
how dare you say that? Yeah, it's
read
like
between the lines, guys. Read between the lines, people. Read between the lines. It's all this kind of, come on, let's relax, really.
You know what? It's like when Salah and Klopp had an argument a few weeks ago. Did you see them two on Sunday hugging each other, smiling? You know, everyone jumping off going on a mad one. As soon as they're seeing that, they're like, "Oh, look what's happening here, this, that, and the other." And realistically, it was two people who were disappointed in what they wanted to do. They wanted to win the league, you know, so they were frustrated, and they ended up going out having a little go at each other. So that's why I don't really look into little spats in the team and little, like a player said, doing this and this, that, and the other, you know, like players have ups and downs. The guy's from South America, you know, the climate in Liverpool is totally different to where he's ever lived. And that's hit him pretty hard, I think. It will take about 6 months just to get used to the climate.
yeah,
you know?
I can imagine the culture shock was severe to come from Uruguay to Portugal. I mean, Portugal's nice and hot, and it's like there's a lot of similarities to South America that just aren't there in England anyway. They're not there anywhere in Northern Europe. He would have landed, but in Liverpool, it must have been a culture shock to land there. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. What's going on now? Who's this now? Florentina Luis wants Liverpool and Gordon wants Liverpool. Who's which Gordon are we talking about, by the way? Mark, give us some clarity. Give us some clarity on that, Mark, if you can. I have some other topics, but just to react somewhat to the chat here. I have some other topics that I wanted to bring up, actually, because apparently Ten Hag is going to be leaving after the FA Cup. That's the reports.
So Pot and Ten Hag.
So, yeah.
And Pochettino. I heard Pochettino as well.
Gordon, Newcastle's Gordon. I got you.
Yeah, Gordon from Newcastle. But
His agent has been leaking some of those clips or those I don't know, like some of his quotes about how Liverpool would be a dream club for him to be. I'm sure Liverpool's a dream club for a lot of players, brother. But
not £100 million.
Not 100 million. Yeah, it's not. You're not £100 million dream. Yeah, I think
there with Gordon for him to come here. He's all right, but he's not a Liverpool player. I'll tell you that. I've seen him. My dad's an Evertonian and he lives upstairs. We've seen Gordon a lot, like in the last few years, more than anyone else here probably has, because their dads aren't Evertonians, and he ain't all that.
The one thing about pace players too is that, like, if you're just a pace player, I'm not saying he's just a pace player, but if you are primarily just a pace player, it definitely, if that goes at any time, or I'm not wanting or wishing this onto him, but if you have an injury or something like that, it can really impact you dramatically with your ability to achieve the levels that you're used to. But he's a good player. I think Gordon is definitely a good player. I just don't think he's £100 million player. And I get it. I'm not going to go against my earlier statements of saying you got to be mindful of the market. I get that, because like that's what the market is, people. The market is £100 million, like £100 million players. I rather go for. Who would you guys rather go for? I'll put this to the chat and to the three panelists here with us. If you had $100 million if we had to spend $100 million, and it was going to be on one of these two players, would you go for Gordon or Bruno from Newcastle? Because they're both wanting $100 million for both of those two players.
All day.
Bruno all day for you, Lee. JK?
Bruno's all, yeah.
Bruno? Irishman?
Just doing some meteorological research here. I'd go with Bruno, yeah.
You go, Bruno. Okay, just asking.
Yeah, but what? Yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of like, I don't know. I know that Newcastle is shop. Those are players that they're shopping currently. Newcastle is in the market for and those two players, Bruno and obviously Gordon, are players, and also Wilson is on the market for them right now. I don't know if that is an interesting name for you guys. And
there's some great players who are already been playing well in the Prem for years who we could have if only we had the money.
Yeah. See, that's interesting. If you see the chat too, they're saying, Honesty's saying, oh, well, Bruno, Honesty is saying Bruno. Yes, I agree with what Honesty's saying. That's why I would go with them too. But Revenite's saying, Gordon, we don't need another midfielder. I think, if anything, we need a DM. We need another DM. If anything shows you how important a DM can be in our play, it was possibly when you saw the Reds with Endo in the 6, or if you saw obviously McAllister or whoever else we were going to try to utilize in the 6 role. There was a noticeable difference. I wouldn't mind having Endo as a platoon with Bruno at the 6. I don't know if you guys feel that way or not, but
that sounds really nice. That.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's a good one you cooked up there.
Yeah,
I like that. Like I think of stuff like that.
Yeah, big up to Scalvini too, as well. Yeah, Scalvini, Ederson. I hear what you guys are saying. I definitely hear what you guys are saying. Their performance there, it was a great performance by the Atalanta. Scalvini was one of the guys that I picked on when I was doing my little sporting director mock sporting director trial. He's one of the defenders that I picked up on the team as being a bargain, but who knows how long he'll be a bargain for, considering the performances.
Sounds like a hitman for the Godfather. You don't want to see Scalvini showing up. It's like,
yeah. You hear the Godfather be like, "Go get me Scalvini."
That's not Scalvini.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna die.
Yeah. But yeah, getting back to it though, let's get back to the Red Devils conversation. In that, what do you think happens now with these coaching situations? If Ten Hag leaves, do you think that it's a done deal? Southgate is going to be in. I'll go to the Irishman first. Do you think Southgate just walks into the door now? Is this them getting ready for Southgate and that era of football for the Red Devils?
Dude, like if a club, I spoke about it last night, that the word on the grapevine, the street, whatever you want to call it, around, was that the guy was safe, that they were going to keep, they weren't going to sack him because they knew that there was other issues there and they didn't want to create a whole thing. But if they've decided that he's going, I don't know who made this tweet that he's going after the cup final, right? So, but okay, let's just say he is. You would need a PR team worth 5 times what Man United is worth to be able to sell that to the Manchester United fans. I mean, like, they've threatened to do things before. They've gone out and they bought their little twirling orange flags and stuff, pretend to support this other team for 5 minutes every game. But if they brought in that guy, I mean, even if he went to Germany, won the Euros, I think they'd have a serious mutiny. Well, not a fan mutiny as much as fans can mutiny. They'll still buy their tickets, but that would be a PR disaster. That guy is. I mean, I don't care about England. I don't care about the England football team. I don't care about him, but I know for a fact that he's hugely unpopular. And for those England fans that really go nuts for England, they hate him. They really hate Southgate for whatever reason.
Yeah, a lot of fans do not rate
Oh no,
Southgate.
they hate him. They hate him. They think they're ruining the golden generation. I don't really care. I don't like I said. I don't care what happens to the England football team. So
I think I'm
to
been
get
a
him,
fan
but
years.
just sorry, Lee. Just that if they were to try and if they were to bring him in and try and sell him, no, I couldn't see it, man. I could not see it. I'd be utterly shocked.
JK, how about you? What are your thoughts? Well, I think JK is on. Oh, he's still on mute. Okay.
Yeah, Lee just exited stage left.
Yeah, I know. Lee, I think Lee's got laundry to do or something. I don't know what he's got.
Just like getting more comfortable.
I got you. Giving a little booster seat. I got you.
Yeah.
It's not like you're tall already. I mean, that's it. Then, what are your thoughts, Lee? Then, what are your thoughts
On what? Sorry.
on Ten Hag? On Ten Hag leaving, and possibly Southgate replacing him. Southgate being in at least in the papers or in the journals, they're saying that Southgate is the top choice or is the most likely choice to be the replacement for him. There are some others too, by the way. I've heard Poch now be a possible candidate for it. De Zerbi is certainly a candidate, as Revanite just said, and Ian said about Poch as well. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on Southgate possibly being
Southgate specifically? Yeah.
I think Southgate specifically doesn't have a snowball's hell chance of getting that job. I don't know where that rumor keeps coming from, because it came out for us. He was getting our job for a while, but all rival fans were saying it. When announced he was going, it was Southgate's coming in at Liverpool, and they were laughing and that, like, you know, like at the same time as having to go to Scousers. Yeah, I don't see that one. De Zerbi, maybe, Potts, maybe. I don't know. I hope whoever it gets the wrong man. I hope they get the wrong man again. God, do I hope that.
JK, what are your thoughts?
For me, that club's been a mess ever since Fergie left, and we all hope he carries on, you know. Funds have always been available there, you know. They've got £90 million players on like 350 bags a week, you know, so they haven't really been stingy with it since Fergie left. But what they've always done wrong is got the wrong guy in. And I don't know, whoever does their transfer work behind the scenes, they haven't got a clue, you know. But I feel that, like, the way managers are just moving jobs now. Back in the days, one manager like Klopp, he stayed at 9 years at Liverpool. That's remarkable, you know, in this day and age of football. It's remarkable. Him and Pep, you know, and Ancelotti even, you know, even he left Madrid for a little while. But Klopp staying for 9 years just shows how devoted he was to us. Like Pochettino, even if he let like Potter, he left, he ended up getting like nearly 60 million out of it.
Yeah,
he's laughing. Yeah. The guy's laughing. What's he done really? He managed in Scandinavia, did a little thing at Brighton, and ended up like getting 60 million. Like, for what really? And Southgate is another sort of Potter type sort of guy. If Southgate wins the Euros, you know, the journalists and the media are going to all jump on that. Oh, he's great for Man United, this guy. So we hope so then. So
he got 25, just to be precise.
Well,
I know.
I thought it was 60.
I don't really.
No, the cost of the hiring and the firing and the yada 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 and all that added up to like him and his backroom staff. But personally, his check for getting sacked by Chelsea was 25 million quid at the end of the day, which for six months work,
it's not bad.
And to go off and just say, but like that changed your life. That's a lot, you know. That's a big lottery win for, like you say, a guy that. And I was saying before, he'd only ever really been making, good money at Brighton, but before that, a small-time coach and player, and he literally won more money than he's ever going to get in his life by getting some. So they got money to burn. Like, all that goes into your FFP.
I didn't know about.
All your all your hiring and firing money all goes into your FFP. So that's whatever they're costing to get rid of Poch, that goes into their FFP. So It's just like spending money on
Yeah.
transfers and wages, sacking a coach, all goes into the books. So obviously they're confident. They're talking about bringing in McKenna. They'll ruin McKenna if they bring in
No,
McKenna.
you're right. You're right. No, yeah, no,
Right about what?
no, right about the fact of like how the money portions of it are how it's so it affects a lot more than people are taking
Yeah,
note of. That's my point.
yeah. That
Because like
goes into
even
the whole transfers in, transfers out. Yeah, it's football expenditure. So if you
Yeah.
spend 20 million on that, it's like spending 20 million of your budget on a player.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but the difference is too with and I'll bring up honesty. I'll bring your point up in a second, honesty. The difference too though is that the way that it doesn't the depreciation isn't the same as a football player. Like how like how they're saying how they're trying to sign these players to like these long-term contracts. That doesn't work with a football manager.
Exactly. Yeah. It goes on to one. It goes on that year's the whole fee goes on that year's accounts.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't spread it out with the amortization of the contracts that they use. So
Yep.
that
hurts. That hits big. That hits big.
I don't know what they've spent to sack him, but between sacking him and sacking Potter and sacking the other lad and bringing in
Tuchel, Potter, even sacking of Frank Lampard. I mean, you've just sacked 4 managers within the course of 3 years now.
They've got to be up around 80 to 100. Surely, they've got to be up around 80 to 100 just on hiring of our managers since Todd Bowley came in.
And I think Pochettino is sort of on the line as well, like heading out. You don't know. I think he ain't going to be there for long. I just got a funny feeling he might leave as well.
No, he's gone, man. Did you not see
he's
that?
Gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's confirmed, yeah?
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
I was thinking, okay. That was because I read something this morning. I weren't 100% sure on it. So, okay, nice. Mad.
I know people do say so much about Bowley, but it's a consortium too, though. You got to recognize that. I know he's the face.
Yeah, exactly. It's shorthand.
Out there.
It's just shorthand. When I say Bowley, it's just shorthand. Yeah, he's the. You got your man Egdad Begali. You've got like.
Thank you. That's what I was just about to bring up, and that's the thing about it. I don't know if you guys know. I was going to say I'll let you guys comment. I'm just going to just kind of give everyone what the question I was going to bring up for you guys is that I get that he is that Bowley's often the name that people say, and especially since he's American, I know like he often gets put out there as all these American owners, blah blah blah. But like his co-owner is one of the reasons why Poch reportedly left. It wasn't because of Bowley. That's what the report that I read was. I'm going to pull it up here too, about Bedag Egbali, was that he was basically so Todd Bowley. This was 21 hours ago. Reported on ESPN. Todd Bowley was Poch in, but Egbali was Poch out.
Well, I even heard 3 weeks ago that Bowley was on the verge of getting sacked. So, like, Bowley isn't.
losing his role. Yeah, being voted out.
Like, it's Clear Lake. Clear Lake is an American hedge fund, investment fund. So, and it's Bowley was the one. So, yeah, it comes across as very much an American-owned thing. But yeah, it's like Bowley could be replaced. It's not like he is some outright owner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
So he comes in, and that's what they do. Like that's what they do. Like people were talking about LeBron James the other day. These hedge funds are what they are. They're these weird little corporations where nobody's really in charge of anything. So when they take over a big company that has a lot of media attention on it, like Premier League club, it needs a face. It needs a face like to people can look at who is the guy? Who's like the guy?
Yeah.
So Bowley became the baseball cap, the sunglasses, the kind of hey-ho, like good public face. throw him out. So everyone thinks he's at least like kind of like one of the two owners or something.
Right.
But yeah, he's not. It's like that's why we use LeBron James, because we wanted to use LeBron James as the face of the club in America, because we don't have we don't have an Abramovich or whatever they used to have. So yeah, Bowley is not the be all and end all at Chelsea.
You're
He
right
isn't.
about
And
right.
that was,
Like,
yeah, good,
he
Lee.
replace, couldn't he?
No, Lee, what were you saying?
He's right about that. He could very well be replaced, couldn't he? Bowley, it'll be another face like at some time in the near future. Who's fronting, fronting all the media for Chelsea. And
I think Egbali wants to be that, Lee. I honestly think Egbali wants to be, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but he wants to be that face. He wants to be more of the like hands-on and you know, and a lot of these decisions that are getting put on Bowley are not being made by Bowley. That's what's really, really funny about all this, and why there is, I think personally, why there is so much chaos at Chelsea. And let me say this too, by the way, Chelsea fans, you got to do better. And I mean about yourselves, because the sheer fact that these guys are, I've seen people be like, Poch out, oh, I'm glad about this, I'm glad about that. And I'm like, if you were to allow for Poch to possibly, and this is what the guy did, and that is ask for his mark to be made on this team, him be able to get some of his players involved in this team, not just all these like high price names out there and just throwing everything into this blender and hoping that it turns out to be an incredible shake. Like it's one of those things where it's like, it's so atypical of how Chelsea fans, like the demeanor of them, of that like spoiled like demeanor. It's so crazy. It's kind of like the chickens have come home to roost almost.
It's been enjoyable to like read that they've not been very noticeable like in internet traffic and football like things this season, but you will still see them having a go at this and that, like, but they've been quite quiet this season. The Chelsea fans have not seen a lot of them, have been zipping around under many different pseudonyms and guises, pissing about. But
well, the players backed Poch, by the way. The players like verbally came out and were backing Poch, as in to say like they believe in this coach and they were behind him. And that's why I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know what is up with Chelsea. It is a hot dumpster mess with all that money. It's like, I guess that's what they're utilizing to keep the fire going, is just throwing more money onto the pile. But, they're just a hot mess.
They've been conditioned to believe. If you look at who's, until just about recently with Man City, if you look at who's won the most trophies in England since Abramovich took over, it was Chelsea by a mile.
Yeah.
By a mile.
Yeah, they were the decade of 2010s and was Chelsea. Yeah.
So if you look at what year are we now? 2024, right? So you're looking at basically everyone that's under the age of 30 basically doesn't know anything other than Abramovich. And those Chelsea fans have learned to grow up on this Wall Street type. This is an American thing. This Abramovich was just plain ruthless. I mean, he would like 6-8 months. It's not working. Boom, you are gone. You're bringing in someone else, and a year later he'll bring you back. Like with Mourinho, Conte, all this kind of stuff. But they've been raised on a club that gives a manager about 5.5 minutes, and if they're not working out, they will sack them. And guess what? We'll bring in a new manager, and guess what? We'll win a league, because that's what we've done for the last 20 years. They've been raised on that way of doing things, and so they think that's the Chelsea way. It's no, we're different, we're special at Chelsea. If you're not performing after 5 minutes, you're out the door, mate. We'll bring in someone else. But what's happening now is, guess what? Like everyone else is finding out, it's a very, very shallow, small pool of available top quality managers, and as far as I'm concerned, they've just sacked one of the best ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're
one
just
of the few names, one of the few big names,
like
big
you
name
just said there.
coaches.
He apparently, the word on the street on that one is, yeah, he fell out with the owners. That's what
Yeah.
I read. It's got nothing to do with anything other than the fact that he fell out with the owners. And you were saying about your man Dali not wanting him to stay, and Bowley wanting him to stay. That's what I heard was, and I think that was like your man, that was Fabrizio Romano type stuff. Was saying, he said the famous meeting. Now I was like, okay, I haven't heard of it yet, so it can't be that famous. But apparently there was a big showdown, and it's all pretty much to do with the fact that Pochettino fell out with one of the main guys, and so boom, you're out the door. And it sounds like from what you were saying, it's this Baghdadi guy that he fell out with.
Yeah, like because another thing that was very big, or for Poch at least, was that it's similar to what I guess Ian was calling you out, Lee, as well. In that he says, ever since Lee called Conor Gallagher a pirate, Poch's days were numbered. That was one of the players that he was willing to go to bat for. And that was like, I mean, Poch made him a captain, you know, and once they started, what's that?
And Chelsea want to sell him because
exactly. That's what I was about to get to.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, totally. Once his name was on the chopping blocks, or on the, or on it put out there to be a name that was being marketed, he was like, this guy is someone that I'm trying to build a team around, and again, the higher ups at Chelsea were like, yeah, but this guy is going to get us it's going to make us money, and that's the only concern that they were looking at it. And it's just like it's the point of what I'm getting at, is that it's a hot mess over there. It's a very, very hot mess. And I just don't understand who's actually in the kitchen really making the decisions.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, let's all name one player we'll take from them who would make our team better. There'll probably be one, Palmer. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And that just explains everything about that topic. Madness.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who I would take on that. I mean, I think Enzo has potential. I think Caicedo has turned the corner somewhat as well. But are there any 100 million pound players that I would take off their team? No, absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Because that's what they would want. That's what they want. Maybe Colwell. I know Colwell was a hot topic for us earlier in this, and we do need a center back. I know that he was a very hot topic, but it is.
Just being real, I'd actually take loads of their players, because I think they've got some brilliant players, and they've just gone to the wrong club, and loads of them have just gone to. That's happened. What happened? Like there's players at that club that I think, if they went and performed their maximum, would be brilliant players at a different club. The likes of Mudryk, Nkunku, Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia, all the centre halves. If Badiashile and Fofana are staying fit, they're like Fofana is one of the best centre halves out there before he got injured. If they went to other clubs and like started really performing, Nkunku was one of the best players in Europe before he got injured. He goes to Chelsea, gets injured for a year.
No, yeah.
It's like, some of these guys.
But you know what's funny about that, Brian? Quick question to interject something real quick to get your opinion at least. Is people have been saying, and I'd like to see everyone's opinion on this on the panel too, and you can tell me in the chat as well. One criticism of Poch this year, because we've seen the number of injuries that they've had this year. One criticism of Poch has been, apparently he conducts a very similar rigorous training session or training regimen as a la like a Klopp, and that has been something that the Chelsea fan base have been So I know we've been there's been those of us in the fan base that have been very critical of our training and how it sometimes can seem as be overtraining. That was the criticism of Poch as well from Chelsea fans as well. It's kind of interesting.
JK, Tony.
JK, I think yeah,
Yeah,
JK.
JK.
Yo, well, Irishman, you can JK. Oh, he's back. JK, go ahead, JK. We can.
One moment, friend.
Oh, okay, all right. Irishman, go ahead.
Yeah, I think even if you think about Klopp and you think about what he does, if you take that and you turn it up to about 50, then you've got Marcelo Bielsa. And Pop has learned from Bielsa. He takes just as much inspiration from what he does. They all take from each other, they all take bits and pieces, but that high intensity training, that sort of murder ball type thing that it was killing Leeds players.
Right.
That's what Bielsa does. That's what he did for Argentina. For Pochettino knows all about that, and he definitely taken that on. Yeah, that's part of what he does.
Yeah.
And he also likes young players. He likes to be able to take players who don't have big egos. That may potentially he may potentially be the biggest manager they've ever played for. So they're going to follow what he says, and mold them. And Chelsea bought a lot of young players. All the young players based on Enzo, Modric, and Nkunku, Cole Palmer. All these boys are young players. So you're buying basically a kind of perfect-ish Pochettino type setup, and they just go and dump him. So the whole thing makes no sense to me. But to be honest, I don't really have a problem with a level of intensity in training that is going to wear players out earlier than normal, as long as it's recognized, accepted, and planned for. And you don't keep players after 5 years when they've been done after 3. If you know that you're going to work guys hard, not that you're going to kill these players' career or anything, but know when it's time to move them on. That's what you need to do. That's fine with me. If you have a low intensity type style of play, okay, maybe you can get 5 years out of a guy. But if you have a high intensity, you're only going to get 3 or 4. We'll just know that, plan for it, and get the next guy in before the guy burns out. Move him on and give him a career somewhere else, or you can go and chill out and play a slower type of football somewhere. So I have no problem with it. I have no problem with that at all. Really, to me, the whole Klopp gets players injured and stuff. I don't really buy that.
Okay, just as a statement. That's that quote or the statement that Bernie put in was pretty crazy. Bernie says they went for dinner and Poch disagreed with the owner. They agreed to sleep on it and they parted ways the next morning. Wow, it's pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. Yeah, Ian's right about this, by the way, though.
He did.
Gallagher has been one of their best players this season. I think Gallagher has been one of the best players for Chelsea this season. I mean, Cole Palmer's got the numbers. I get that and everything else, but
Cole Palmer definitely, yeah. Cole Palmer.
Gallagher has been good. Gallagher's been good.
Gallagher's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Gallagher's been good since Gallagher's had what they call it, a hop in his step ever since he got that loan to Crystal Palace. To be honest with you,
I liked him in that loan. When I watched him in that, I was thinking he's a good player. This kid.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about us having him or anything but I did mention him. Last summer when they were meant to be having a fire sale, I was saying whip in and nick him. I was on that jazz for about 2 days on live stream. Last summer, not that when we haven't bought anyone yet, I was going, go and get Conor Gallagher, I'll have him. Because at the start of the summer, everyone went, there's a Chelsea fire sale, a big Chelsea fire sale, everyone was for sale. And I was saying, well, get an English player then, because everyone was going on saying we need it, but we've got to sign a homegrown, we need it homegrown. So I was saying, get in.
Well, I'll ask, I hope, JK, when you're, okay, make sure you're back, JK. I'll ask everyone on the panel this question then. It's a good question from Stefano. He asks, in a Klopp system, do you think Gallagher would have been a better signing than Gravenberch.
I think
Because
so.
you probably
Yeah.
would have spent about the same, to be honest with you. Probably would have had to spend about the same.
But when you look at Chelsea this season, Gallagher shined out of most of their players. Him and Palmer alone, they've been pretty poor. What it is with certain players, you don't know how they're going to handle playing for like a bigger club. And I think Gallagher's doing all right at Chelsea, even though at Palace he did okay.
Right.
He probably lacks a bit of class, maybe. I don't know why he don't really get the limelight as such, but he's a little battler, you know. And I think maybe I would have preferred him over Szoboszlai if you consider the season he's had.
Yep.
You know,
No, what Philip said is true, though. This is a true statement. He says, if you listen to some of the Chelsea content creators, Gallagher's been crap, and they want him gone.
That's what I'm saying.
It goes back to what I was saying about Poch. Like you were saying, he's been good since Palace. He hasn't been good since Palace when you look at it, because he wasn't given the chance. It took Poch to come back in. Like he went to Palace and he ripped it up, and that's what Lee is talking about there. Everyone was talking about us going in for him, because that was the first time they tried to sell him. Yeah, that was the first time they tried to sell him for 50 million, because he was brilliant at Palace.
Well, that's when he looked like a player. That's when, personally, I think that's when he looked like a Klopp system style player, in that he just like was all heart and effort. Yeah,
but if you just, but what I was saying is like you were saying he's been brilliant since then. It's like, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but if you look at it again, it's actually there was a big dip in the middle, because he went back to Chelsea because nobody put up the money for him, and then they didn't play him. He sat there and rotted again until Poch comes back in. Then Poch comes in, Poch who wants to use young players, hungry young players, who listen to him and work really hard. He's like, this guy's a gem. I'm getting him right in my team. So he comes back and he shows Chelsea, just play the guy, just play the kid. But they're looking at him going, that's 60 million profit. I reckon this is what that meeting, I reckon that's where that meeting went wrong. Where they're going, look, Poch, we sell Mount, pure profit. We sell Gallagher, pure profit. We sell this guy, pure profit. And he's like,
you can't do that.
I'm not having that. And they're like, no, that's how we do stuff. That's how we afford all these big, expensive signings. Amortization is what we're talking about. They sell their homegrown talent. It doesn't cost them anything. And he's like, no, I want to do this shit. Like, if you look at Cole Palmer, like Gallagher has been excellent, but Palmer has been absolutely outstanding. I know he's. It's not just about the numbers with this guy. This guy has come out of nowhere, walked into that team. Even when they were terrible, he was banging in goals. So they might have a problem with him, and if they're looking at him going, what can we do? If he does that again next season and they don't do very well, but it's Poch has definitely walked away. He's walked away, I think, because they said we want to sell the likes of Gallagher so we can buy more freaking Mudricks and Jacksons. I think that's what's happened. I think that's where the split happened.
And that's where Newcastle are coming out with the 100 millions on Gordon and Bruno, for example, because they know if they can get rid of not too many players, and if they do get rid of anyone, it's going to be big money, so they can get maybe 2 or even 3 players in for that 100 million, you know. So that's why they're doing them big fees for them too, for example. It's all sort of dodgy dealings and stuff, considering the talent. When you look at Gordon, he's not worth 100 million. Conor Gallagher, how much is he worth? You know, it'd be a bit crazy to spend 60, 70 million on him, in my opinion.
The part of the point, though, also, and I'll let Lee chime in after this statement, but I think that I understand the Palmer has been amazing, absolutely incredible for them. Has like definitely seen the spotlight, stepped into it, and never looked back. I'm not saying that at all, but what I am also saying is that if Gallagher isn't there to take on that Henderson role, in essence, of being the guy in the locker room that keeps everything together, the guy that keeps especially all of these egos, and that's what this Chelsea locker room is. It's just full of egos. It's somewhat of a balance. It's somewhat of like of an absolute some type of ability to like actually have some consolidation of a team. I think that's why I'm saying I get it. He's been phenomenal and everything else, Cole Palmer, but I also think that I'm giving credit to Gallagher for the sense of it was never going to be an easy role to be the captain of this team. And that was something that he took on by Poch saying to him, hey, we understand Silva is going to eventually be, Thiago Silva is going to eventually be, leaving the team. And although he's one of the senior influences on this team, I just think that it showed a lot as to say, you're going to we're looking at you to be that next leader that carries the team forward, because obviously you couldn't have that in Thiago. But Lee, did you want to say? Okay, or go ahead, Irish. You can say something real quick, and then
not anymore. Yeah, if he gives Cole Palmer the platform to go and perform, that's what Potts is saying. Look at this. Palmer goes out and just destroys it. Like, Palmer's been unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Gallagher will not be that guy next season because Potts will be gone.
Right. Well, now that Potts is gone, yes, especially. Yeah.
So he was laying down the marker. He was basically saying, look, you have top quality young homegrown English players that can captain your club and sit in field and do his job. And then you've got basically a guy who, if he was fucking Spanish, if Cole Palmer was Spanish or Brazilian and he went and did that this season.
Oh yeah, he'd be 150, 130 million pound player or something like that. Something stupid.
Yeah. But Palmer will get left on the bench now. And quickly, Bernie, if you could put in what was exactly what Carr and Neville said, because I've been talking a lot of shite, so I'm just wondering what bit they agreed with.
Go ahead, Lee. Did you want to chime in a little bit on anything?
As far as Chelsea are concerned, they've got the nucleus of a really good squad. They've got good players in every position in that squad. There's no doubt of that. They just need. It's ludicrous that the amount of managers they've had in the last 20 years, it really is ludicrous. I can only remember probably about 70% of them. I could remember them all if I put my mind to it, but there's been that many. They make the change that often. And like I say, the nucleus of a really good squad is there. They've got good players in all positions of the pitch. But I love to see them struggle, just like I love to see United struggle. They're the two teams that I like to see struggle.
I'll tell you this much.
It's easier to remember the managers they haven't had, Lee. It's easier to name the managers that they haven't had. Of the top managers in the last 20, that's probably a shorter list. They've had them all. You name a top manager from the last 20 years, 25 years, other than Ferguson, Wenger, Klopp, and Guardiola. They pretty much had them. They've had them all.
What I was going to get at too, though, before we move on, when it comes to Cole Palmer, he's on £75,000 a week. It's a lot, especially for a young player. He's also on a 7-year contract.
Of course he is. He's on a short one. That's a short one by their standards.
He's on a 7-year contract.
Mudryk's contract until 2045.
It's incredible. Incredible. If anything, if I'm Cole Palmer, I'm looking at it like, I signed this 7-year, but we might need to have a little compensation.
Have a little snoozle, I think if he carries on playing well and the Spanish teams get interested, they'll end up giving him a pay rise. They'll double his wages or whatever, they have to.
Yeah. 75K though. That's pretty crazy. Speaking of teams, go ahead. What'd you say, Irishman?
No, sorry. You could live on it, couldn't you? You wouldn't be. You could get by.
Yeah. You can make a nice. You can make a nice little living with 75K every week. Speaking of wages or of money, at least, apparently, the U.S. investment fund Oak Tree Capital Management said it has taken ownership of Italian soccer champions Inter Milan. So after a missed 395 million euro payment from the club's Chinese majority stakeholder, granted by Oaktree in 2021 to the Luxembourg-based vehicle through which Chinese conglomerate Suning owns the team of Inter. The loan was guaranteed by the stake in the club. That gave Oaktree, which specializes in providing rescue funding to struggling firms, the potential right to take control of the club in the event of a default. So basically what I'm getting at is that the Chinese majority owners of Inter Milan have defaulted on their loan payment. And now Inter Milan has been taken over by Oaktree.
Yeah, the romance of football. We have Chinese mega investors that got pulled out by the Chinese state years ago when they cancelled all investment in football. 2 or 3 of them are left. Suning is gone broke years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then basically they signed up onto that thing knowing they're going to be defaulting. So, yeah, you know, all the people who complain about ownership, like if you just read that out, like, I'm not suggesting that you should, by the way, but if you were to read that out again, like that's just basically the death of football right there. Like Chinese conglomerates being bought out by banks that now own your club, investment. It's like, Jesus, this is fucking Inter Milan, man. One of the greatest clubs.
Yeah, Inter Milan. It's the Italian champion right there. It's the Italian champion right there. And their club has just had their owners default on a 390, basically, because it's basically the Chinese did what Hicks and Gillette did, and also not even that what the Glazers have done somewhat too, in essence. But that just goes to show you that, you know, the state of football is a very fragile situation. The concept that there's going to be these rich owners, these rich guys that just have, like, you know, this one interest, and that is, like, you know, the football club, and that's it. Those days are so far gone, and it's a sad
It only takes one bad decision from a person or a couple of people at the top to sell the club to the wrong people. And 4 years later, a club that was at the top gets bought out by some people that appear to have money or claim to have money. Stock market changes, world events change. Next thing you know, boom.
Yeah. I mean, look, you guys, I know that people hate American, or not hate, but I know that there's a distaste for American owners. But hey, you know who owns Atalanta? The Boston Celtics owner, the guy that owns the American guy who owns the Boston Celtics, owns Atalanta.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, pretty crazy. AC Milan. Yeah, AC Milan, Redbird. Yeah.
You don't even have to go that far, but most of the clubs in the Premier League are American owned.
Yeah. Of the top clubs, yeah, too, and especially of the top clubs too.
Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Everton potentially with that one. Burnley, American owned. Obviously Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur aren't. So most like the majority of owners in England are American, especially at the top leagues. So
here's a question for you guys. Brought to us by Richard. He asks, do you think Dom Gravenberch and Darwin Nunez will improve next season for Liverpool? Do you think they'll improve? Do you want to go at that one, Lee, and then we'll go Lee, JK, and then Brian?
Yeah, I think they'll all improve. How much they'll improve and whether that's enough for people to get off their backs, I don't know, but they will improve. All of them, I'm sure, I'm certain of it.
JK?
I would say if their attitude's right, every player's got a chance at Liverpool. It's all about if they're feeling comfortable, you know. Culture shocks, we was on about that earlier and stuff like that. So for me, Birch moved from Holland to Germany, which is sort of similar, then to England. Might have hit him a little bit. Darwin, definitely. But for me, I like Darwin's spirit, always have. I've always supported the lad. I think sort of he had a bad end of season, got injured, and it was sort of downhill from there. But all in all, I just want him to score goals for Liverpool.
Do you think, as Michael Corleone is saying, Brian, a few good Dom performances, and he'll be everyone's favorite again? He'll be not everyone, but he'll be some people's Hungarian Gerrard again.
No,
Yeah,
That was bold. That was a bold
who,
statement to say, by the way. That was a very bold
he's
statement.
another player sort of found it hard to sort of settle down. He started off pretty well, and then he had like off-field situations and stuff, and maybe the Klopp news, because I think him and Klopp probably spoke German with each other, and then him leaving and stuff, and he went downhill from there for him. He also got injured as well. So all them three players mentioned there all got injuries. But Gravenberch sort of finished okay, I would say. He sort of improved out of the three at the end.
What do you think, Irishman?
Well, I think all three are, well, two are very different because one's been here for 2 years, the other have only been here for 1 year. One has, so I think if Sarah takes a Bosley first, I think whether it's about improving or not, because something I'll get onto later on, but if you're saying that they're underperforming, I think Gravenberch isn't underperforming. I think he's just growing into his role. So the more he plays, Gravenberch will not improve if he doesn't play. Okay? So if he plays every week, no doubt he'll improve. Every player will improve if they play every single week in a good team to trust him to play. If he's sitting on the bench all the time, no, he'll probably just be okay. So Bosley may improve in terms of, again, improve is subjective, so if we put him in a different role, will he improve? Will he look better? I'm assuming so, because he'll be in a more attacking role, and then he'll look better and he'll have more time on the ball, or he'll be more involved. Someone like Darwin Núñez, I don't know if he'll improve. Like, you see, one thing I have to talk is people are saying like Arne Slot will get the best out of Darwin Núñez is a comment I've heard a lot over the last few days. Arne Slot will get the best. Arne Slot will get the best out of Darwin Núñez, or he will improve. Well, number one, how do we know that? How do we know that he will get the best out of him? Why? Because he's a new manager. And what that also says is that the guy that you've just spent 2 days, and I'm not saying you, and the guys you just spent 2 or 3 days crying about leaving online, talking about how he's criminally underrated, he's one of the greatest managers of all time. What you're saying is that for 2 years, Jurgen Klopp was unable to get the best out of Darwin Núñez and couldn't get him playing. And for some reason, when this Slot guy is going to come in, he has the keys to unlock Darwin Núñez, because what you're saying is he can do something that Jurgen Klopp, who wanted to buy the guy, spent potentially 85 million quid on him, could not do and was incapable of doing. That to me doesn't track, doesn't wash, because it's purely hypothetical. It's basically predicting the future. So that to me, it's a real easy line. Oh, Man United will be better next year. Chelsea will be better next year. Everyone said that last year about Chelsea. Chelsea, look at all the money. They'll be better next year. They were worse. Man United, they'll be better next year. They were worse. So maybe he does come in. But this idea that, he can, I think it's that to me is like, well, basically what you're saying is Klopp couldn't get the best out of Darwin Núñez, didn't know how to use him. So I'm saying.
I see the angle. I understand the angle you're saying. Okay. I get it.
So
I'm not saying that I what's kind of crazy about it is I don't think that it was, albeit he didn't get the numbers that you saw from his time in Portugal, but there has been a slight improvement from his first year, whether it's his understanding of how to properly press. If it's not, his numbers alone have certainly improved as well. I mean, like his GA is considerably better.
I know, yeah, the GA. But what I'm saying is, when people say Slot will get the best out of him,
I know. Well, that's what I was going to. Yeah.
Well, you're saying Klopp didn't get the best.
Right. That Klopp didn't get the best.
I'm just saying that's interesting. I'm just saying that's an interesting comment to make.
Yeah.
So
I think
like
I was just gonna say that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just mean if he does double thumbs up. I just mean some of these people when they're saying that, I don't think they realize that what they're actually doing is backhandedly saying your Klopp
is a backhanded. Yeah.
Couldn't get the best out of him.
Right.
You know, is it that he was incapable of getting the best out of him? So, okay, cool, because he spent a lot of money on him. So, okay,
they were
cool.
2 different seasons under Klopp, weren't they? The 2021, 20, but not this one just gone. The one before that bloody one, where we didn't even qualify for the Champions League. That's the season he came in, and we were very good. And then this season, we were good for a while, and then we weren't. He had injuries. Now, that's what I said at the beginning of my piece. I said it to what degree he'll improve. I don't know, but surely he's got to improve a bit. I just got to get a little bit better than what he was this season, just a little bit. So, you know, I'm not saying he's going to get an awful lot better, but maybe a little bit.
I think that sometimes maybe people are not recognizing that they are saying that. You're right, Brian. I can understand your angle of what you're saying. That is somewhat of a backhanded compliment. But I think also they're looking at it as, oh, well,
they're trying to be super positive.
What outright striker, other than Lewandowski, obviously he had phenomenal, results with Lewandowski. But as far as Liverpool, the one striker that he says, and this is it's a shame too, but the one striker that he gives a lot of like fanfare to, and this is Klopp gives fanfare to, as to what he thought and what he wanted to see as the potential and ability and everything else, yada yada, was Origi, which is kind of surprising because a lot of people don't put Origi in that status, but he big ups Origi incredibly, by the way. But with what they're trying to say about Slot, maybe they're saying that Slot has maybe with the track record of what Slot has done with most recently his strikers, maybe he can have the same result with this striker. So that's how I'm.
Positive. They're just looking to say nice things and say he's going to do this, which is great. We've been here before. Like, I've been around too long now to not know what the preseason talk is. I'm cool with it. It's positivity on all. Like, as we said last couple of months, it's all talk until it's on the pitch. So
I get you. Let's see
what happens.
As Chris said, Brian, don't let me corrupt you with my positivity. He says the plane is fueled and ready, Captain.
From what I've been hearing, I have reconciled myself to the fact that he will be here for another season. So I'm pretty. From what I've been hearing on the David Lynch type, podcast, that it's like there's no intention of selling him. He's not going anywhere. David Lynch too, by the way. Good journalist. He doesn't go. He was just saying, look, from what I've been hearing, he's not going anywhere. Everyone wants to keep him. Guy wants to work with him. Club don't want to sell him. And he said all the nice things, but he gave the game away at the end. It was that we're not going to get the money back. We're not getting it. Said the only club was Barcelona, and he just said, look, no one in their right mind can see Barcelona giving Liverpool the money they want.
Yeah.
So that's really it. He's not going anywhere, really. So
he's not. Because I mean, like, you're 2 years shy from dropping 85 million on a player.
2027, he's contracted to. I think at least it is 2028 or something, maybe.
Yeah, there's no rush. As long as the player wants to be here, he'll be here for that kind of money, that kind of investment. And I think that's something we should just say, why not? I know people want to do this whole like get him out of our team. I know Chris has got the plane all gassed up and ready to go, but hey, give if it means bringing in another player to make him compete for that not number 9 role, hey, then do it. If it means maybe bringing him the backup, why not do that? Why do we always have to be? I don't think we have to be the buy and sell all the time. I wouldn't mind trying to create some type of a stockpile. It'd be nice to have the luxury of what you see on some of these other teams, like City most likely or something like that. But it is what it is.
But it's demoralising the way City can waltz in and just get players. When they wanted Paqueta in the summer, I was like,
yes.
That was the one time where they couldn't get him, wasn't it? And they ended up getting Thingy from Wolves. And was it Nunes was his name or something?
Oh, yeah. Well, we were going after. There was a player we were going after, Lee, too. Or at least at one time, we were looking at getting him.
Because they just got Guardiola about a week before and or something. Guardiola. And then they got him, didn't they? But the way they can just improve their squad, just go, it can be demoralising to watch.
Then we got Doku.
Financially.
They brought in Doku then as well. Just dropped like 60 on him or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't wait for this trial to get underway. Just need bloody hurry up and get this trial underway for City.
Yeah, it's like gold.
It'd be great. Speaking of City, I was going to say, because, one, I did want to see us get Vardiol, by the way, especially since he was a Liverpool fan growing up and blah, blah, blah. But Manchester City's Pep named Premier League Manager of the Year. Did you guys have anyone else that do you think is rightfully deserved, or do you think that it's just by default that he got it since he won the Prem?
I liked what Iraola did at Bournemouth. Yeah, he did well. Got them up quite high. Because it's a pretty, it's not a great team/squad, is it? That Bournemouth, and he's done all right there. Iraola. I was quite impressed with him. Maybe one to watch for the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say exactly the same. Yeah, if I wasn't going for the obvious, Pep's going to get a thing. I was going to say Iraola as well, but you'd have to say massive. Norman? Yeah, Norm. I mean, Unai Emery, great show.
Yeah.
Honorable mention number 1, Unai Emery. Definitely, they bought him Diaby, they bought him Pau Torres. He's not done it on the cheap or anything, but he's done a great job there. He's finished above Chelsea, Newcastle, Manchester United, and Tottenham.
Yeah,
so he has to be in there. But I'd be with Lee. Iraola. I think if he keeps doing what he's doing now, without a doubt, the way football moves now, I'd say 3 years. This guy could be managing Bayern, Real Madrid, anyone. He's gone really under the radar, what he's doing. Top quality coach.
Emery, you talking about?
No, Iraola, Bournemouth. Everyone knows that Emery can do. Yeah, but Iraola, he's the kind of guy that in a couple of years you can see being at one of the big Spanish clubs, because it's this guy's called. But they knew what they were doing, and again, they replaced. I thought they were being super harsh. They got rid of Scott Parker after we beat them 9-0, and he came out on the pitch and just basically asked to get sacked by saying, "Oh, it's going to happen again. We're terrible." And so they sacked him, and they brought in Gary O'Neill, and Gary O'Neill was supposed to be like the next guy on the chopping block. He did a brilliant job and kept them up, and they sacked him, and I thought that's pretty harsh. But then they bring in his Spanish coach. It's like, oh, that's the typical, Premier club brings in random Spanish coach. But he's been absolutely brilliant. And who's behind that? Who's behind that appointment? Richard Hughes.
Yeah.
that regime that brought him in, that's their forward thinking. That's Richard Hughes's. That's on his watch. Is bringing in the Arola.
That's what Mark
And look
Simmons,
what he's done before. So this guy, I mean, as much as we don't know who he is, born with this, born with that. If we bring in the Arola in 3 years, because he's one of the best coaches in Europe, and Richard Hughes spotted it 2 years ago, I don't care if they came through Bournemouth. I don't care if they came through Millwall, Accrington Stanley. Then this shows you maybe this guy knows what he's doing a tiny little bit, maybe.
Yeah. I think that we're in safe hands when it comes to the people that are in the positions that they are for the club. I think that it shows, especially, just as your comment and just said with the appointments that they've made and such. I mean, it goes to show, look, I personally am very happy that we got Slot, knowing what I've learned and knowing and now that I've come to see is his style and what he brings and his likability with his former club and how much they've enjoyed him as being their gaffer. I'm excited to see what Slot brings for us. To be honest with you, I'm excited to see what he brings for us. But
for me, the art and ways of how they sort of rolled it all out takes away the shine of all these new appointments. I'm really disappointed in the way we let Klopp go and in the way we sort of crumbled at the same time. And at the same time, news is coming in every day. This guy's coming back. This guy's coming back. And Klopp's still there, So for me, they've ruined the whole Slot thing. And in the way they've allowed Slot to just come out willy-nilly during his coach of Feyenoord and coming out with, I'm going to be the new Liverpool manager, So for me, that is, and a lot of Liverpool fans probably feel the same as me in that way. Yeah, there might be happy Slots here, but for me, they shouldn't have done it at the time they did it at, and they haven't stopped. They didn't just say, okay, Klopp's leaving and left it as that, Just a few days later, Edwards walked straight back in, okay? And that way they've done that, very, I'm trying to think of the word to describe it. It's a big slap in the face of Klopp, and it shows me that the club did it out of spite to maybe Klopp. If you own Liverpool Football Club, you're going to say to the guys, hey, listen, this guy's gave us 9 years. He's made our 300 million into 5 billion. And we're not going to say nothing about him until he leaves. We're not even going to tell the fans he's going to leave until the end of the season. The season's not even finished one day. And all they're going on about is Slot. Non-stop. Let's remember Klopp for a week. Why not?
Yeah, I could. So you're saying basically you don't like that Slot's announcement was made right after Klopp?
Yeah.
I mean,
for me,
I could. The only pushback I would say for that is Klopp was in the middle of the. I mean, Klopp was in the middle of the park, basically. Starting up I didn't even know that was his. That's now going to, I'm sure, be his song for Arne Slot if he ends up being, a good coach for us. But, he's up there giving chance for the guy in the middle of the pitch.
Fair play to him, bro. But at the end of the day, if Arne Slot's name wasn't even mentioned, Jurgen Klopp wouldn't have sang that song on the final day of the season, Big gratitude from Klopp's side, what a guy. After how they've sort of treated him, he still did that. Absolutely. That's how big a guy this guy is. So any fan who sort of criticizes what Klopp's like and this, that, the other, look what's been going on in the last few months and realize what he did on the last day of the season. Okay? That is from... I didn't like it myself. I thought it was a bit cringe. I was actually gobsmacked. I was like, pardon? What's he saying there? And it was a bit of a... I don't know. It was just mad. But for me, it's just the whole topic just ruined our title charge. So for me, I'm blaming them guys at the top, Edwards, whoever, because I 100% believe that Edwards is the guy saying, okay, this day we're going to do this, and then this day we're going to do that. You know, this news is going to let out, this news is going to be let out, and stuff like that. So I blame the owners and the club for our demise of our season at the end. Not saying, okay, let's go and get that DM in January, even if it costs 30 million. Andre, for example, okay, even if he weren't world class, he would have done better than a McAllister in there. You know,
Hey, man,
so for me,
let's honest,
them topics was for me. Edwards was involved in the club for the last year minimum. He could have said to the owners, if he loved Liverpool, okay, if he loved Liverpool, he would have said, listen, Klopp needs a DM in January. Klopp, this guy's football smart, you know, right? He ain't no idiot. Edwards, he could have done that, but he didn't. So for me, it just shows
January?
you in January, bro. You know, we just knew that when Endo wasn't fit, because Endo got his game, it took him a bit of time, but when he got hold of his game, I tell you the truth, he was our most valuable player in the team. You know, so that DM topic's been a big topic for us guys and stuff for a long time. But for me, that could have showed Edwards and some good killers. Say, you know what, Edwards pushed for that January DM signing for us to win the league. He would have won a lot of fans over, but he didn't do it. So yeah.
I mean, Edwards wasn't part of the
bro. He's been on the scene. He would have been behind the scenes. Okay, talking to the owners for years. Even when he left the club, he would have probably ended up talking to him. You know, for me, what they tell us, he's come back to the club on this date. I don't think so. So that's why I'm very annoyed on that topic.
Yeah. I feel you. I understand what you're saying. I don't agree with what you're saying, but I understand what you're saying. But
why don't you agree, bro?
I don't want to get. I don't even want to get into it.
We talk about another time.
I'm not trying to get into a fight right now because I was gonna do something nice. I was gonna just. You said something about you said something that reminded me about something I definitely want to bring up. But yeah, the thing I want to bring up is Flowers, basically, not for the ownership, but for someone in particular. I wish I had a better one for Matip as well, by the way, because I think we're gonna miss Matip, guys. I think Matip was a player that if you just overlooked him or thought that he was disposable or wasn't a valuable piece, you're really not recognizing the history of this club. I mean, he was very influential in that Champions League run. He was very, very important as well, you know. And
he's been one of the pivotal players on the club.
Yeah. I went back and forth. We were talking about. I get that a lot of people. Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
Sorry,
couldn't stay fit.
Same old with so many of our players, the good ones. Couldn't stay fit. Couldn't say. There's like he gave us a good 8 months. I remember when he put proper string of games together.
Yeah, this past year.
So good.
This past year,
until
the injury.
And then, boom. Yep. Again.
Yeah.
Next thing.
You guys think the idea that there's just more injuries these days than what there used to be. It's not just us, and it's not just the way club. It's all teams.
There are more injuries.
Oh yeah.
There are more.
Yeah.
100%. There are more injuries. Yeah, definitely there are more injuries.
I showed that graphic. Yeah.
There's never this where half your squad was out or more than half your squad was out. I can't remember that ever in my life at any time where you'd have half the squad out, literally half the squad.
I think the worst thing about the injuries this year, at least, was the fact that it was two important players. It's one thing if you have injuries to players that are, squad players or players that, don't really have a very influential role in the team. But let's be honest, I think the biggest thing that really made a difference, and it could have made a difference in a lot of the end results in a lot of those fixtures, was the sheer fact that our center back pair was 1 minute's VVD and Kwanzaa, 1 minute's VVD and Kanate, 1 minute's, there was never any solidified pairing of a spine for our center back pairing or center back partnership. I think that really made a difference. Is one of the reasons why you saw Arsenal performed so well this year. It's because they had that, you know.
The injury that annoyed me and summed up the way it was going when Robertson went out on international duty, and then Simicast come in, and within a few days, Simicast went out with a broken collarbone. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And then it was just in all season, wasn't it? You know what I mean? But that one was
yeah.
You know,
That was kind of like crushing.
Out. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, 2 left backs out, right, which is okay, and both of them to be out with shoulder injuries. It's just okay, well, just okay, screw this shit. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Speaking
somebody
of,
poked a voodoo doll, or somebody kicked a cat, or somebody broke a mirror, or something. It's just
someone stepped on a crack or something, or something like that. You know, walked under a ladder, I guess, or something. There is one thing that I'm interested if they're going to bring this in. I'm going to bring up these 2 last points. That's one last point that one of the last points that I am going to bring up is, so Copa America is going to be here in America. It's going to be pretty cool. So actually, one of the games is going to be actually hosted in the big city that I live next to or live near. So I'm going to definitely be going to a game, if not more. And one of the things they're going to be doing this year at next month's event will be that Copa America will have the option of teams will have the option of an additional sub in the event of a concussion or suspected head trauma. This is according to South America's football governing body, CONMEBOL, has implemented this rule. Do you think that we should implement this rule in the Premier League as well? Do you think that this should be something that is given to all stages or all levels of the game, or is this like too dangerous of this guy, they're out of subs, so pretend like you had a head injury? You know how pretty much everyone holds their head now on almost every bad incident. They almost all hold their heads when it comes to these things, whether they got hit in the head or not, for the most part. Do you think it's possible that they could be manipulated?
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Irishman, you want to go? We'll go across the board here. Irishman, what's your point?
Don't let the bad apples ruin it. Like, concussion subs is a good thing. Okay, so if like the question, so it basically, if you take it to a shorter question, are concussion subs a good idea? Yes. Mm-hmm. Would everyone agree that if someone gets knocked out and they might have a concussion, you should be able to sub them off? I'm pretty sure everyone's going to agree with that, right? So that's the question. So if you want to say, oh, well, should it, because a load of people, forget the bad apples. It's a good idea. Yeah. You should do it. Yeah. If some people want to mess it, because, we've got numerous studies out now where they're banning football, heading in underage football, heading the ball, because there are proven studies now between heading a football and having dementia in older age. It's just proven, scientific fact. If you grow up heading a football spend your life 30 years growing up as a kid, as a pro footballer, heading the ball all the time, you have a greater chance of having dementia. So this is all good stuff. So yes, 100%. If a few guys want to take the piss, they're dickheads. But make sure some guy gets knocked out, not like back in the day. Patch him up and throw him back on. He doesn't even know where he is. Like that famous story about someone coming off, asking the manager, like, "Oh, who am I?" And someone says, "Oh, tell him he's Pele, tell him he's Maradona, and send him back on."
I get that. I get that.
Yeah. So I'm all for.
No, I mean there are people out there that are faking. There are people that are faking, and there's people that aren't faking it. And also, it's also the in the better interest of the player, because there are some players that are getting injuries, are getting head injuries like that, and are wanting to continue on. Which could jeopardize their own safeties. That the whole rub some dirt on it and keep and suck it up and go out there and keep playing. Rather than let your teammates down. You don't want it's for instance, Karius. Imagine if we had this rule in that final. Karius is coming off, and all of a sudden we're not getting penalized in the essence of having to make this goalkeeper change, and could have made a difference. Because apparently he did have a concussion in that game.
Yeah, he was. That's been proven. Look at the knee he gets to the head. Even look at the knee he gets to the head from Ramos. That would knock out a heavyweight boxer.
Yeah.
But I believe what Norman's saying about how certain players just go to injury now, like start touching their head, fall on the ground, so the game is stopped. So momentum is sort of messed up. So
I agree with that too. Yep.
That's the thing.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, JK. Go ahead.
Bad apples, dude. Bad apples.
Yeah.
You can't say bin player safety because a few players are going to take the piss. Like, how many times have you actually seen a game stopped by someone? Like, people say this. Oh, how many times have you actually seen a game stopped and ruined by someone faking a head injury this season? Doesn't happen. Players go down. Yeah, they go off. Send them off.
I have seen some players go down, hold their head, and
exactly,
and it's not because, and it's but you look at the replay and you're like,
I know, yeah, but that's just players. They've always been doing stuff like that. I mean, this is should we? Yeah, this is good. Like you're talking about concussion. Like any doctor on the planet will tell you that guy needs to get off.
Oh, I'm not disputing that at all. I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, so let's just do that. Let's sign it in and say yes. And if some guy wants to take the piss out of it, we talk about strong captains, strong leaders in a dressing room, then you get a guy and say, don't ever fucking do that shit out on the pitch again because you're taking the piss out of people who are actually injured. Stop doing it. We don't do it at Liverpool. We don't fake concussions at Liverpool. That's what I'd say about that. Get a captain and a manager who says that.
All right. You want to say something, Lee?
Yeah, there's a lot of this now because they've got VAR. When there's like after a corner and there's a melee in the box, if a opposition player who's trying to score, puts their foot up anywhere near the defender's head, they're going down. There aren't be more these days. And open the VAR up, pick it up. If a goal is scored and there's been a boot anywhere near a head, and they'll go down and hold their head when they haven't been kicked in the head. But even if it's close to the head, and VAR looks at it, like the ref will sometimes go, oh yeah, he kicked him in the head there. And you're like, no, he didn't. That's how it's going, isn't it, now, where the defenders are going down, if there's anything at all. And
anything close, yep.
Pick it up, and then the ref will go back and look and go, oh, there's the slightest of touches.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. You're absolutely right about that. The last part and point I wanted to do, I have to make everyone make room for this. Let's see. Yeah. Is this right here. I said big ups to Matip. Big ups to Matip. I don't know what's going on with Adrian, by the way. I thought Adrian was a done. It was very interesting that Adrian didn't get a shout.
200 grand a week. He's getting 200 grand a week to clean the canteen.
Okay.
All
right. I didn't know that. I didn't know you had the inside scoop on his next appointment. But
he's on a 10-year deal. He's on a 10-year deal.
Okay. Well, this is someone I wanted to say thank you, despite the fact that I know this is an individual that a lot of us wish we could have seen more on the pitch rather than just on the sidelines. But look, a lot of what ifs, but I wanted to basically utilize the platform to say thank you. I said thank you on a bunch of people's posts as well, on my own as well, but on other people's posts on Twitter or X, whatever we call it now. Because there were some out there that were just saying, thank you or appreciate you. Look, there's not too often that Liverpool bring in an absolute legend, like an absolute world-class player it's not too often an established world-class player, let's call it that. It's not too often that we have those graces. Now, we've had players that we've brought in that have certainly been have gone on to become world-class, but very few times have we gone out and had a world-class player not only come to Liverpool, but want to come to Liverpool. And Thiago was that guy.
In the modern world,
And
in the modern world, perhaps.
but
in the modern world, but
okay. But that's all I was
no, but
thinking.
I mean,
It's just the Premier League. Yeah, okay.
yeah. Oh yeah,
But in the
but
Premier
back
League
in the
era,
day,
okay. I'll let you. Let me just finish. I have like a little. Let me just finish.
Sorry, yeah.
I'll let you speak. But what I was trying to get across is that Thiago is someone that I was proud to see wear the red. I think that he's a class character, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. I think that he exemplifies what it is to be a Red, which is encouraging and being helpful to your fellow Reds, even when you don't have the opportunity to get into the fight with them. You're still backing them and trying to do anything and everything to eventually get back on the pitch to be a part of that. And he's really made some efforts to make sure that he's given and shown the appreciation to the Reds fans. I mean, I follow him on Twitter, so if you do see his feed, it's full of appreciation and showing the not only from his appreciation but his family's appreciation for the fact that he was given the opportunity to become a Red. So I just wanted to make sure I said thank you, and I wish you the best on your new journeys ahead of you, Thiago Alcantara. Now, Brian, you want to say something? I'll allow for all three of you guys to say your piece if you want to say something to Thiago, to Matip, maybe even to Adrian. If I don't know if Adrian has if his new job is confirmed or not, as Brian is saying, but go ahead, Brian.
Just to say what the lads are saying, like if we got him, the what ifs, we got a glimpse, I suppose, of what he could be.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what he could do for 10 years. We got 6-8 months, maybe. It's probably the most. Yeah, he's up there with one of the biggest disappointments of all time. No, obviously it's not about him. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to it's hard to categorize how you feel about him. It's just like a player I wanted to join since I've been playing Football Manager, in 2010, 2008. This guy, him at Liverpool, always bought him for Liverpool, always did, But yeah, just just there's nothing really positive there because the negatives are huge. Yeah, I'm sure he loved being at Liverpool. He didn't really impact anything that we did. He got well paid, 200 grand a week. He played for I think 8 months. I think he put together of consistent appearances. He put in a game changer against Man City. But yeah, he was part of the latter Klopp era where everyone said we needed to add to that midfield. Milner, Wijnaldum, Henderson. Oh, it's great, but there's no creativity. Imagine that midfield with some creativity. So Klopp, I think, buckled and went out and got Thiago. And yeah, the rest is history. It's just it depresses me talking about him because imagine him fit for 4 years, playing 25 to 28 games a season in our midfield. There was a couple of I can't remember who said it. Some Barcelona guy, wasn't he? Said, "Oh, Liverpool. That's when we signed him. I think Tony Cruz or somebody like that. That was like, oh, that's Liverpool going to win everything. That's just complete. Like that Liverpool team is now perfect. It has Firmino, Mane, Salah, and now you have Thiago in the midfield with Robertson and Trent. It's just it's now perfect. And that's what I was hoping too. But that's football. It doesn't work out like that.
Lee? you want to say something?
Yeah, he's a good player. I was frustrated with the fitness like many others, but he's a good player, and it's not his fault, is it? You know, he never done it on purpose, did he? Come here and became injured a lot. Like it's just. I did speak to a Bayern Munich fan the day we bought him, and he said he's a great player, but he is always injured. And I remembered that he got injured on his debut, and I remembered what the Munich fan had said weeks earlier. But yeah, there you have it. It's sad, like, but he was a good player.
Well, it's world class.
But he
One
did,
of the best first
yeah, he
options
did
in the
look
Premier
good
League.
with Bajcetic's development. I have to throw that in. We all know that, don't we? Bajcetic said that himself, didn't he? You know, that he was helping him with his developments, whatever, just verbally, whatever. I don't think he was probably showing him how to play. He must have just been talking to him, mustn't he? You know, saying, approach it like this, approach it like that. But yeah, so he's had an effect there.
And this is why I said about Thiago not playing, okay, but he's going to be more useful giving younger guys tips of how to play ball. Because, like, for me, he's the most simple footballer you can, like, who's in the club. Like, one signing Klopp made that was world class. And he just played football simply, you know. He wasn't really fast or anything, but on the ball, he was just like next level. So I think them sort of tips could have helped Harvey Elliott, Bajcetic, and like look at Harvey Elliott's game. You know, he's playing more like a Spanish midfielder anyway now. So for me, Thiago, good, strong influence type of guy. You know, as soon as you meet him, you just want to know about football off him. You know, so. But I'm really sort of sad to see him go with this season, him not playing at all. I just wanted him to be fit for this season, you know. I think he would have made a difference, maybe, you know, his little knowledge of the game and stuff. We in certain games we lacked that guy who just knew what he was doing. You know, our midfield went missing a few times, and I think him fit would have probably made a difference.
Right.
Well, this
Yeah,
what you like. You're putting up the stats there. Like this, what I'm saying. Like, can you imagine if he'd been playing at that level for 4 years?
Yeah.
You know that this was. It's like no one has ever like. I've never met anybody who has said anything less than that guy is absolutely world class. Like I've never met anybody that says he's not that good. I've never met anybody that says he's not one of the best midfielders of all time on his day when he's fit.
Yeah.
Like it's just he's literally he's out. He comes like this was the thing like Lee was saying. Like I had this whole thing in my head where basically for 2 years, Bajcetic is going to be sitting there playing alongside Thiago, training alongside him every day, and when Thiago leaves, Bajcetic takes over the mantle, learning off the master. And not only does Thiago miss the whole of the final season injured, Bajcetic misses the whole of the final season injured.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. That's like the two left backs out with shoulder injury shit. It's like, oh, okay. Someone kicked 2 cats at the start of the season. Like, you know, the final season where Thiago was going to be able to mentor him, and I'm thinking Europa League made for Bajcetic. He can sit, you know, like.
I think, yeah.
But yeah.
Is it the City game, by the way? You're saying the City game. I think the best game, the best game that he had was possibly the Manchester United game where he won. I think he beat him like 3-0, I want to say.
Yeah, it was good enough. Yeah.
That could have been one of his best games, as in the point of where he just absolutely was he was a maestro, to say the least. You know, to the point where like I know Klopp subbed him out in like the 80th minute, and there was like one of the warmest applauses I've ever heard. Yeah,
I remember that game because he made a pass in that game that he did in a way that I've never seen anyone pass the ball before, which is very rare. But he was kind of running towards the ball, and he kind of let the ball. It's just hard to describe it, but he made it look like he was going to take a touch and pass it, but he let the ball hit him and used that to be a pass that like went 30 yards right into someone's feet. It's just like this guy
Yeah.
is a wet dream.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I like
yeah, with him.
midfielders. That's my thing. I don't like.
Yeah.
I know I love football, but my thing is midfielders who can pass the ball 20, 25 yards. This guy is literally a wet dream to me, which is
But
why
he
it's just like
does it
so
with that
frustrating.
Brazilian. He does that with that Brazilian flair too. That's the thing I think that gets a lot of people, makes a lot of people like stand up and notice.
Can I
Like,
ask a quick? Can I ask a quick question? Actually, we might have time. Like, and people can put it into the chat. And this isn't a definitive list or anything. And I know I'm asking this real quick, so let's not have a go at anybody's choices or anything. But for me, he's one of the best first touches in the Premier League ever. Like 20 in the 25 years of Premier League in terms of the first touch. So I'm just wondering, because I did this the other night, who would be your top five? Just so it's a simple question. Premier League era, top five best first touch players. Just the best first touch in the Premier League.
that's a good question.
My five were Thiago, Mahrez, Berbatov, Bergkamp, and who was my fifth guy? Bergkamp is one, Mahrez is two, Thiago is three, Berbatov is four. Who was my fifth guy? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, Zola. Oh sorry, yeah, Suarez. Yeah, I had a thought between Suarez and Zola. Yeah, I went with Suarez in the end. Yeah. So Suarez, Bergkamp, and the others I said. Yeah. So there you go.
Suarez, Thiago, Bergkamp. You said right, and who was the other two?
Yeah, Mahrez and
Suarez.
Berbatov.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up. That's why I couldn't.
Mahrez,
Suarez, Bergkamp, Mahrez. Okay.
And Berbatov. Berbatov is the king, by the way. But anyway, so
I would have put probably first. I would have put probably David Silva in that list.
yeah,
I think David Silva has incredible.
Oh, we can all do your own five. It's an individual list. So
no, I know. I'm not. This is no knock at your list at all. I just say my personal. Bergkamp's a shout for sure.
And in the chat, by the way, in the chat is the main thing.
You said Berbatov too, right?
Yeah.
Probably Ozil. Excuse me. Arsenal's Ozil. I think who else I would put in there. The other players I hate. I don't want to put. I don't even want to say their names. To be honest with you,
I think I read your mind, bro.
Because I mean, like Bernardo Silva's amazing. Juan Mata's amazing. I just don't like those guys. So.
yeah.
So when it comes to that, that's the reason why I put Suarez in there, or maybe even El Nino, maybe. I think El Nino had an amazing first touch.
Okay, yeah, there's no point. Okay, so JK, you go.
Yeah, for me, Bobby Firmino, Suarez,
Liverpool. Okay, you, yeah.
Bergkamp, like next level.
Yeah.
I don't really want to say his name, but he's either Foden or Silva. Those two got like top first touches.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll probably even Matt Letizia.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Letizia was a bit of a baller, and he had a bit of a good first touch and stuff. Him, Suarez, Bergkamp, Bobby, sort of similar sort of players, but different, but sort of first touch sort of players, you know. Like Bobby, sometimes he set up some goals with just like little touches and stuff, you know, little flicks and stuff like that. So hence why I would said his name first. But Bergkamp, another one, that guy, he did that touch against Leicester, where he turned on it himself. He did this touch and he turned on it himself and he scored. Like, yeah, that's Bergkamp. I like them sort of players, you know, them like number 10s,
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of like centre forwards. I appreciate their games more than a guy who just runs lines all the time, for example. Yeah.
Stefano put in Harvey Elliott, possibly has some first touch class. That's from Ian. Stefano said Matt Latisse. Yeah. Ian put in also Traore. Daryl says Henri. He has Henri, Bergkamp, Modric, and Beckham and Zola. Okay. Yeah. Maybe even like Riyad Mahrez, maybe.
That's what. Yeah,
I've got to put Thiago in my 5. Yeah.
Mahrez is in my top 5. That's why this is like Mahrez is in the top 3. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I should probably go through my first 5 again because I don't think maybe you didn't hear, but it's like Mahrez.
Yeah, and then
like I don't know if anyone's ever seen him play football. If you don't think he has one of the best first touches you've ever seen, then you didn't watch him play football. It's ridiculous. Berbatov's first touch is from another world. So the two of them have to be in it. Then you have Thiago. Then you have Bergkamp. And so then for me, the 5th one is basically take your choice. Because there's another 20 guys that are all on the same level. But Berbatov, Thiago, Mahrez, Bergkamp, out of this world. Absolutely out of this world. Bonkers brought up Georgie Kinkladze. What a player. If you remember him, what a player he was.
Sure do.
Coutinho, good shot by Mark too. Lee, what are yours? What are your choices?
I'm going to put Robbie Fowler in there because he had an outrageously good first touch for a centre forward. It would just come under the spell immediately, like the ball just stuck to him when it was passed up to him around the box, and he'd just take it in and out in the goal. He'd just weave in and out then with it. Like it was brilliant when he was dead young. Like, you're born with that, aren't you? Like players are born with that first touch, that like silky first touch. Bergkamp, yes, as well. Zola, yes, very good first touch.
Berbatov? Come on.
I can't remember Berbatov's first touch. I can't picture him caressing it.
Cool.
Zola, Fowler, picture Bergkamp. I can't picture Berbatov, although I did see him. I think I tried to blank it out when he played for United. That period. Not really. I'm just saying I didn't see enough of him, like, to remember it, like, you know, like in my mind's eye. But okay, who else was there? Yeah, Firmino could be in there because Firmino's was outrageous. Maybe from a different side. Who was good first touch? Janino. Let's have Janino. He was brilliant. Janino. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought it was
proper 90s football. That was Janino wearing what looked like a shirt 5 times too big for him. And it was the smallest shirt to get, and he still was getting blown away by the wind. Best player on the pitch, going up against 6'4" guys and stuff.
Wasn't he, Janino? Loved him.
People are saying, 5'5". Someone like him, they can't play in the Premier League. They can't play in the Premier League. He came in absolutely tiny. Back in the 90s when you were still getting smashed everywhere. and he just made people look stupid. I was like, oh, okay, so these guys can play.
Two small things, always a load of nonsense, and when they say that, if a player's good enough, like he'll
Would you have said
impose himself on games.
So,
would you have said maybe like Tevez, Carlos Tevez, maybe?
Oh, you can get into your top 50 if you want. That's why I just kind of try and keep to a top 5 because you're talking about.
No, he's not top 5 though.
These top, that's what you're talking about. Like the real, best first touch means like pure artists. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, you could easily do a top 10, but for me, the top real 3 is kind of Thiago, Berbatov, and Maris.
I mean, there's a lot of good shots out here by the chat. That's why I'm just asking. I don't know. I don't know if Tevez
I'd agree with all of them. I'd
Yeah.
agree with Moti, Perez, Di Canio, all these boys. Exactly. That's the thing. But that's the reason is like, that's what it says. Like your top 5 is like, it just shows you that in the list of Premier League guys, these guys can come. That's what I'm saying. Like you can only have a top 3. Littmanen, another guy he's my original Thiago, the guy that I dreamed of coming to Liverpool. And it never worked out. He was for 2 years at Ajax, one of the best players in the world. An attacking midfielder. Like, yeah, not just like, oh, we bought another really good defender from Scandinavia, like we always used to do in the 90s. No, we bought a real quality player. Yeah, again, injuries. Didn't work out.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Michael is stoking the bear there, I think.
Yeah, he's trying to get the bear. He's trying to poke the bear. Oh, no, you can see that, Lee. but yeah, some good shouts, definitely. Tomorrow, so speaking of all these men of yesteryear, tomorrow we're gonna fire up the DeLorean. I don't know. Do we have a time set yet for what time? What's the date we're gonna go back to?
I picked it last week, so I assumed it wasn't on me this week. So I got my shout last week. I assumed it was going to be someone else's.
Okay. So all right. In that case, then, yeah, we're gonna have be a surprise venture back into time. Fire up the Huey Lewis in the news, and get them rocking and rolling behind us. And
sports, what an album. Huey Lewis in the news, sports. What an album! That's all I'm saying. What an album.
I'm surprised. Mark, I'm surprised. He didn't put this guy in his list, but that's a good shout too, by the way. Because that's one of Brian's favorite players.
Who?
Excellent shout.
Xavi, is it? Alonso, is it? Oh, Tino Asprilla. Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing. You're talking about a top 5 here.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I know he's one of your favorite players. That's why I was. Yeah.
Well, he's not really one of my favorite players, to be honest. He's just one of my favorite guys that I like to bring up when I talk about Newcastle from the 90s because he was fantastic. But yeah, he was great. He was great. Yeah, I've opened a bit
I'm surprised out of all the players. You said Premier League players, though, right? You said Premier League.
But I couldn't name them all. They said if I wanted to name all the people who were good, I would just sat there for an hour naming players. But I have opened a Pandora's box here. So I was just I know. I'm
just making the distinction that you said Premier League players because, Tino. Ronaldinho has possibly one of the greatest first touches.
Yeah. Oh no. No. Premier League.
Premier League. Yeah. Exactly.
Premier League players. Yeah. What's that, JK? What you were going?
Yeah, I was just saying Brian Laudrup brothers, quality players as well. What Ian was saying.
Michael Laudrup was one of the famous the dream teams. Johan Cruyff's dream team at Barcelona, 1992. The front three: Risto Stoichkov, Romario, and Michael Laudrup. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Romario, Stoichkov, and Michael Laudrup, all at the peak. Just crazy stuff. Crazy. But yeah, Brian Laudrup at Chelsea, not so good. Yeah, he was at Rangers as well, Brian Laudrup. But yeah, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
See,
I'll look at
knows.
I'll look
knows.
at that too. That's the I'll try to make it that. I'll look and see if there are any if we have any Arsenal since Arsenal are now apparently, at least Arsenal has had their second run at being the bridesmaid.
That's a good one.
Since it's the truth though. It is the truth.
It is the truth. They're never getting married.
Yeah, but Michael, if even for a half an hour of that 1 hour, it's still Beyonce. So, I mean, Michael class. I mean, even if you only get an hour of Beyonce a day, it's still Beyonce for an hour.
Exactly. It's 2 hours, man. It's 24 hours in a day.
I'm assuming she's going to be busy for another hour. I mean, she's Beyonce. She's going to be busy, so I'm assuming,
Yeah, singing All My Ladies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's going to be singing All My Ladies or something. With the thing and the stuff in the air. I mean, she's got to keep that money running. So, even if you get an hour of Beyonce a day, it's still an hour of Beyonce.
It is still an hour of Beyonce. I'll take an hour of Beyonce every day, all day.
Yeah, but would you take an hour of Beyonce or 2 hours of Dua Lipa?
So we're gonna be going to this game tomorrow, and
he's not answering Dua. Yeah, he's not answering.
Oh man, you can't put. You're trying to mess up my future marriage. I mean, Beyonce's married already, so I wouldn't speak on that. Do a different story. So, all the same, we're going to be doing this game tomorrow. I'll look to see if there's any Gooner madness that we can bring in.
A lot of people say they want an Arsenal game. Is it?
Yeah, some people asked for. I saw someone ask for an Arsenal matchup.
Okay. Well, I'll have a look. I'll have a look and see what ones, and we can pick one. I'll have a look and see what ones I can find, and sure, I'll throw a few suggestions in. You pick whatever one you want, but yeah, there's plenty of Arsenal games. Like, we don't want that 89 Michael Thomas game or anything, but what about the Owen final, the 2001 Carling Cup final? When we won the treble.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Yeah, we can get that game. That'd be awesome. We can find that. That'd be awesome.
No, I've watched that. That's up online. Is the 2001 season where we won the cup treble and we beat Arsenal in the cup final, in the League Cup final when it was in Cardiff. I watched that one. That's definitely online. So I don't want to watch that one. If you want to do that one, we could do that one, I'd say.
Yeah. Let's we'll pick one out that's a good one to reminisce, and also just obviously it's just a matter of it's a fun trip back in time, to say the least, because it ends up being like watching. You get to see some really fluid football. It's amazing how fluid the football was now, considering what we watched in today's game. But also it's just an opportunity to kind of not only enjoy the moment and the memory, but also to spend it with your fellow Reds, which makes it that much more enjoyable for me. So we're going to look forward to that. Is there, before we let the people go on to their final destinations, is there anything you'd like to say, JK?
I wish Klopp the best, and who are we playing Sunday? No, but we lost, and also like Atalanta, fair play to them. They beat us, beat Leverkusen, the two favorites.
I mean, look, we lost to the Europa champions. It's not like You know, that's how I see it. I'd rather lose to a champion than lose to second place or runner up. So we can say it that way.
Lost to a good side with a good coach and a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, man. Wasn't great at Leicester, but today he got a hat trick in the final. Like, so actually,
Moment for him.
He's been scoring recently as well. So
Yeah, it's a moment he'll definitely live.
Yeah, it's nice for him, and my dad will be made up because he follows any player who's played for Everton ever. He follows them then, afterwards. And if they ever score, he goes, "Hey, such and such scored,"
He played for Everton, Lookman, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Fulham, Leicester,
Fulham.
a couple of loans, a couple of people took a chance on him, and there you go. I think commentator was saying it's like is it him and one other person have another hat trick? Is it? It's him and like one or two other people. That's it. With a hat trick in a final. Yeah. He ain't beaten this night. For what he does.
That's the best. Yeah, he's not beating that unless it's a Champions League final and he does the same. Yeah.
He's not talking about.
He ain't talking about that.
Yeah.
He should be doing photo shoots and everything now. Make the money.
Yeah. Yeah, big up. Yeah, he's got locks. He's like growing out the locks. Big up to him, man. Big up to him. Irishman, is there any parting words you want to say?
No, I just know there's a load of people in here tonight, which is brilliant. And if you haven't liked it already, like the video. And if you aren't subscribed, I know everyone's subscribed, but the usual crack. But just in case you haven't liked it, like the video. So let's make sure that everyone who is in has liked it, because it was a bit low there earlier on. But look, thanks for coming in. The usual. Thanks, Lee, everyone. JK, just
best, man.
Yeah, have a great night. Take care.
Best to the chat as well.
Cheers, guys.
Definitely. Well, Lee, do you want to say something before we bounce out?
Not really. I'm just looking forward to starting now to see how it unfolds. I want to see what his opinion is of different players and that, so we know what's going to be happening. I am anxious, although I do want a break, and I have been having a break from football. I'm anxious to find out what the skinny is on his view of the players he has at his disposal. I wonder if he has any preconceived ideas about any of the players, from earlier, coming across them or whatever. I don't know, because I just don't know what that much about Slot, but it will be interesting, won't it, over the coming weeks to find out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, has anyone ever scored a hat trick in a Europa League final? No. Until Lookman's trio of strikes, nobody has scored 3 in the final of Europe's second-tier club competition. UEFA Europa League website states that the last person to score in a Europa League game was Hazard for Chelsea way back in 2019. That's pretty crazy. And can you name anyone that's ever scored a hat trick in the Champions League final? Can you name the player that scored a hat trick in the Champions League final? Real quick trivia for who bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone name the person that scored a hat trick in the Champions League final?
Italian fella for AC Milan. Italian striker for AC Milan. I think he scored one against Barcelona, maybe. Or he scored one against someone. I can't remember his name. It was about like 94 or something. What's his name? Can't remember his name. I'm sure there was an AC Milan striker, an Italian striker who scored one for AC Milan in the European final. I'm sure of that.
I don't know that striker, but I do know that if anyone wants to take, you want to take a stab? I know Irishman loves trivia. Oops, I just gave me an answer. Don't look at the chat, then.
If anyone could Could
I just
remember
put the
when AC Milan spanked Barcelona really, really badly in the Champions League final in like 94 or 95. And whoever he wasn't like a regular, he wasn't the number one striker. He come in to cover for someone and I think got a hat-trick.
No, that was the dream team that I was talking about earlier on. The Cruyff team with Stoichkov and Romario. They actually lost that final.
Yeah, they
But
got past
it was
like
yeah,
AC Milan.
there was like 4 different scores in that. I could, yeah. See, you said Champions League. You said Champions League. You need to be really specific here. That's the
no.
European Cup.
That's how it says.
Champions
That's how it's written. That's how it's written.
Yeah, the Champions League is Champions League. Ferenc Puskas never played in.
Well,
Okay, so Puskas and European Cup.
Right to the
so
people of the Champions League, then, Brian. That's their question.
Yeah,
that was their answer.
Yeah, no, that's good. But
I wasn't making up
the.
I wasn't making it up.
It's not the Champions League. It's all time. Yeah. No, if it's that long, well, Lookman is probably. I think that's even bigger. I thought there was someone that's even like literally he's like the one guy in 50 years who've actually scored.
Yeah.
Always nice to player.
Yeah, always nice to do something new. Yeah, like he was at Fulham. Like everyone said it. Like I said, like my mate, like that was a Leicester fan. He's like the guy on his day is just ridiculous. It's just like you've never seen. And this was after they'd had.
I think it's next weekend. It's not this weekend. I think the Champions League final is next weekend, right?
It'll be next week. Yeah. I think they moved it. They changed it from Saturdays to Wednesdays back again. They try to make it Saturdays. It used to be on Wednesday night. Like tonight was on a that's a traditional night for European finals, Wednesday night.
Yeah. You're right about that.
I'm not sure if they moved it back. Or next Wednesday or next Saturday.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I'd just like to make sure that we say blessings to all you guys that hung around with us. I know it's late in the UK, might be early. It could be early or midday, depending on where you're casting from or watching us stream from. But all the same, I appreciate the fact that you guys joined us today. That you guys look to hopefully join us tomorrow when we fire up the DeLorean and go back in time. We'll have some. I'm sure we'll have some trivia questions, and fun trivia questions. I'll be sure to make the distinctions so that we don't confuse you on the answers on the answers you got to give us. And as always, continue to take care of yourselves because as the most important thing is. Having you here with us is important, and it's about taking care of yourself, taking care of your loved ones in your life. And, as Reds, that's what the primary focus should be, is the concept that you'll never walk alone should be more than just a motto. It should be something that we instill in our lives, and it's something that I try to hold and endear in mind. And that's why, hey, I'm here with you for everything, thick and thin, win, lose, draw. We are all Reds and proud of it. So we will be back tomorrow, though. Tomorrow we'll be back at 7 p.m. on the dot, UK time. And up the Reds as always. Until then, peace.